And welcome back once again to this time the Chaos Daemons review of Engine War. Again, I don't think this will bring demons up to where they need to be, but it is very nice and there's some pretty cool stuff in here to certainly help them along. Unfortunately, like I said, I still don't think you're going to see them as much as what you would hope. So, I do have Khorne Demons and I do have Slaanesh Demons, which I haven't used for a long time. I do need to paint a few more of them up and then we'll probably get them out. But I'm excited especially about my Khorne Demons, because, you know, I love charging forward. So, if you didn't have Chapter approved, you've now got all of the Slaanesh Demons that weren't in the Codex in this book, which is nice. Thank you for bringing it back together. I don't know if there's been any changes in here in comparison to Chapter Approved. I haven't compared the two books. The only thing that I will point out though, that I did notice, is Herald of Slaanesh on Exalted Seeker Chariot. A weapon skill used to go 2+, 4+, 6+. That's been changed from what was in the index. I don't know again if this was in Chapter Approved. You've got the Herald on Slaanesh and Seeker Chariot, and then you've got the Herald on Hellflare. I don't even know if that was a non-index option. So yeah, it's all there now. Thank you very much for updating it. The new rules for horrors, just in case you haven't got them from Chapter Approved. Blood Crushers and Fleshhounds, of course, as well updated. The new Slaanesh models are absolutely fantastic, and these are some of the nicest models that I've enjoyed painting for quite a while. So, stratagems. Each god got access to 4 additional stratagems. Now, I'm only mainly familiar with Slaanesh and Khorne, so I will do my best to cover the Nurgle and Tzeentch ones. It looks as though every single one of these is 1 CP. So starting with the Slaanesh ones, Razor Sharp Caress. Use this stratagem in the fight phase and select a Demonette infantry unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, the armor penetration characteristics of melee weapons are improved by 1. That is very good because Demonettes can get a lot of attacks. Sinuous Undulation. Select a Demonette cavalry unit in your opponent's shooting phase when they are selected as the target for attack. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made against that unit, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. It helps. They're still Demonettes, but it's useful. Song of Discordant Despair. Use this stratagem at the start of the morale phase. Select an enemy unit within 6 inches of a Fiend's unit, and until the end of the phase, subtract 2 from the enemy's leadership characteristic. I believe Fiends have something to do with leadership and running away and stuff, so that might be helpful for that. Flensing Impact. Use it when at the fight phase when a chariot from your army made a charge move this turn. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit. That's kind of useful. Rust, Easy, and Decay for Nurgle. Use it on a Plague Bearer infantry unit from your army. When resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 automatically scores a hit and successfully wounds. Do not make it to wound roll. That's useful, but if I'm correct as if I'm wrong, but I think you can get Plague Bearers doing mortal wounds anyway with spells and that, so you might not necessarily need that. I do like what they've done though, there's a stratagem for each of the demons here. So obviously you had Demonette, you've got Cavalry, you've got the Fiends and a Chariot. Here you've got Plague Bearers, then you've got Plague Bearer Cavalry, so this will obviously be the drones. When the unit is destroyed before removing that model, roll 1d6 for every unit within 6. Another 2 plus the unit being rolled for suffers 1 mortal wound. Cool. This one's for the Beasts of Nurgle. Use the stratagem in the fight phase and select 1 Beast of Nurgle unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition. Cool. And then Nurgling Infestation. Use this stratagem at the end of any phase except the morale phase. Select one Nurgling unit from your army and roll 1d6 for each model in that unit that was destroyed in that phase. For each roll of a 5+, return one destroyed model. Wow, that's really good. That's really good. So the Khorne one, this one is actually 3 CP, but every other one of them is 1 CP. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a model in a Bloodletter infantry unit from your army is destroyed. Until the end of the phase, roll 1d6 each time a model from that unit is destroyed, and on a 4+, that model is not removed until after all of the attacking unit's close combat attacks have been resolved, and the destroyed model can make all of its close combat attacks against the unit that destroyed it before being removed. This model can make those close combat attacks even if it would have not normally been able to target this unit. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So you can technically pile into other units, let them kill you, and then just go, oh no, I'm going to fight again. Depending on what you do it to. It's situational. It is kind of useful. Brass Stampede. Use this stratagem in your charge phase and select a Bloodletter Cavalry unit from your army when it finishes a charge move. For each model in that unit, you can select one enemy unit within an inch and roll a dice. And on a 2+, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 6, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. If these mortal wounds destroy all enemy units within 1 inch of your unit, it can, if you wish, immediately declare another charge. That is particularly handy, I think, if you've got a squad of like 6 of them and you're charging, a squad of 1 or 2 models left, and you can almost guarantee that you're going to take them out and then recharge again. That's actually quite cool. The Scent of Blood. Use this stratagem in your charge phase. Select a Fleshhound unit from your army. This unit can be chosen to charge with even if it advanced this turn. In addition, add 2 to the result of the charge roll if any models have been destroyed this turn. Any enemy models have been destroyed this turn. So yeah, that's cool. Other than vehicles, because it's obviously Scent of Blood. And then Bound in Brass and Bone. Use this stratagem in any phase when a Bloodletter Chariot from your army is chosen as the target of an attack. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack, half the damage inflicted. Nobody takes Bloodletter Chariots though. But, hats off to them for actually doing it. For Tzeentch, we've got Minions of Magic. Use this stratagem at the start of your Psychic phase and select one Horrors Infantry unit from your army. The first time that unit attempts to manifest a psychic power this phase, do not roll any dice. The Psychic test, instead assume a 9 was rolled. Cool, 1 CP to auto pass. Well, not auto pass, but roll a 9. Warp Jaws. Use this stratagem in the fight phase and select a Screamers unit from your army until the end of the phase when resolving an attack made by a model in the unit against a vehicle or monster. Add 1 to the wound rolls. Flames of Mutation. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase and select one Flamer unit from your army until the end of the phase when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, and a modified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition. So again, quite good. And then Warp Portal. Use this stratagem in your movement phase and select a Flux Master, Fate Skimmer or Burning Chariot model from your army. Remove that model from the battlefield and set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches from enemy models. It cannot move any further this phase. Cool. You've then got 3 relics for each god and an exalted stratagem. Now the exalted stratagems, you can use multiple exalted stratagems across gods. You cannot use multiple of the same god exalted stratagem. So I can only have one exalted bloodthirster. You could technically have an army of an exalted bloodthirster, an exalted great unclaimed one, an exalted keeper of secrets, but you cannot take 2 exalted bloodthirsters. So with all of these, you either choose one of the 6 buffs in the stratagem, or you randomly roll 2. Now, I've only gone into detail with the corn one here. However, there's only one, possibly two, that I'm not overly fussed on. But the rest of them are all actually quite good. So I think, especially for corn, I would roll the 2 dice and see what I get. So, I'll just read through them. The model can have a save characteristic of 2+. That's the one I'm not that bothered about. Blood Blessed, the model can't lose more than 8 wounds in the same phase. Any damage inflicted after this point has no effect. It seems that more and more models are getting this because Ghazghkull's got it, and then of course Marathi in Age of Sigmar has it. Arch Murderer, add 1 to the damage characteristic of all weapons this model is equipped with. Wow. Slaughterborn, if in the charge phase this model makes a charge move, is charged, or performs a heroic intervention, add 1 to its strength and attack characteristic. This is cumulative with unstoppable ferocity. Wow. This model is considered to have double the number of wounds remaining for the purposes of determining what roll to use on the damage table. That's okay. And then Unrivaled Battle Lust. When a charge roll is made for a model, add 2 to the result. In addition, you can perform a heroic intervention from 6 inches away. Pretty cool. So the artifacts, you've got, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, Grimaktir the Destroyer. Okay, so I just tried to pronounce it. Axe of Corn only, this replaces the Axe of Corn. So it's strength +3, -4, d6 damage. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, a damage roll of a 1 or a 2 counts as 3 instead. That's good. That's very good. In addition, the first time this model with this relic is destroyed, roll 1d6 and on a 4+, set the model up again at the end of the phase as close as possible, and more than an inch away from enemy models. With d6 wounds remaining, that model loses all warlord traits, relics, and exalted abilities it had. Instead, it always has the Rage Unchained exalted ability, see left, which is double the number of wounds. If the destroyed model was your warlord, that model is no longer your warlord, and your warlord counts as having been destroyed. Wow! Holy moly! Wow! It basically gives you a d6 wound bloodthirster back. That's phenomenal! I'm excited about that one. Roll 1 Blood Drinker Talisman. Roll 1d6 each time an attack made with a melee weapon by a model with this relic destroys an enemy model. And on a 5+, you regain 1 lost wound. A model with this relic cannot regain more than 8 lost wounds in the same turn. Okay. And then the Rune of Brass. Enemy Psychers suffer perils of the warp. Test that includes any double whilst they are within 16. Enemy Psychers that suffer perils of the warp whilst they are within 16 suffer 3 mortal wounds. Cool. Why would you not take that? That's phenomenal. So, Exalted Lord of Change, Mastery of Magic. This model knows 1 additional psychic power and can attempt to manifest 1 additional. Cool. When this model successfully denies a psychic power, the psychic unit that attempted to manifest that power loses it and cannot attempt to manifest it again this battle. Wow. Lord of Flux. When an enemy unit suffers mortal wounds as a result of a psychic power manifested by this model, the enemy unit suffers 1 additional mortal wound. Cool. Nexus of Fear. If this model is on the battlefield at the start of your turn, roll a d6. On a 1 or a 6, you immediately gain a command point. Cool. Aura of Mutability. When this model would lose a wound as a result of an attack, roll a d6, and on the 6 it's not lost. After a unit has finished resolving all of its attacks against this model, the model regains 1 lost wound for each wound it negated. Wow! And it's not capped. When resolving an attack made with ranged weapon against this model, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. Cool. Warpfire Blade, model with a baleful sword only, so it's strength +2, -3 d6, and if you make a wound roll of a 6, it inflicts d3 mortal wounds in addition. Soul Eater Stave, roll 1d6 when a psychic power is manifested by a model with this relic, and on a 4+, he immediately regains 1 lost wound. A model cannot regain more than 9 lost wounds during the same turn as a result of this relic. And the Crystal Tome, at the beginning of your opponent's turn, select one enemy character within 12 of the model with this relic. You and your opponent then roll off... oh, wow. Okay. So you and your opponent then roll off. Your opponent adds the leadership characteristic of their model to the result, and you add yours. If your total equals or beats your opponent's, then all aura abilities their character model has cannot be used until the beginning of the opponent's next turn. Cool. Exalted Great Unclean One next. Bloated with Corruption, he has a toughness of 8. Revolting Resilience, add 1 to all Disgusting Resilience rolls. Avalanche of Rotten Flesh, when resolving an attack... hang on, Revolting Resilient. Is that a Warlord trait as well? Could you get a 3 of Disgusting Resilience? I'd need to look at that. When a charge roll is made for this model, add 1 to the result. In addition, this model's Crushing Bulk ability inflicts D3 mortal wounds on a 2+ instead of 1 on a 4+. Living Plagues, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this model, a successful hit roll scores 1 additional hit if the attack's strength characteristic is at least twice the target's toughness. Okay. Gift of Bountiful Vomit. In each of your shooting phases, you can select one enemy unit that is visible to this model. Roll 1d6 for each model in that unit that is within 12, up to a maximum of 7, and for each 3+, you suffer 1 mortal wound. And then subtract 1 from leadership characteristics of enemy whilst they're within 12. Subtract 2 whilst they're within 6. Cool. Effluvior. Exalted Great Unclean One with Plague Flail only. So it becomes Assault 6, +1 Strength, -3, 2 damage. The bearer can make attacks with this weapon whilst within an inch of the enemy unit. And attacks with this weapon can target enemy units within an inch of friendly units. Excess damage from this weapon is not lost. Instead, keep allocating damage to another model in the target unit until either all the damage has been allocated or the unit destroyed. That's pretty good. Tome of 1,000 Poxes knows 1 additional power. In addition, if the modified result of the psychic test is a 7, the psychic... it has to be a 7 exactly. The psychic power being manifested cannot be denied. And the Endless Gift, a model with this relic regains 1 wound at the end of each phase in which it lost any wounds. Cool. And then Keeper of Secrets, add 2 to his move, and when an advance or charge roll is made, add 1. Cool. Quicksilver Reflexes gives him a 4 invulnerable save. Blessing of the Dark Prince, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon, subtract 1. Lightning Flare, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this model and a modified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit. Fear Seeker, once per morale phase after an enemy unit fails a morale test but before any models flee, this model can move as if it was your movement phase, so long as it ends closer to the unit that failed the morale test. In addition, each time an enemy model flees from a unit whilst within 6 of this model, it regains 1 lost wound. That's okay, but it's a bit of a mouthful. And Battle Rapture, this model can perform a heroic intervention if he's 6 inches away. In addition, each time a Keeper of Secret consolidates, it can consolidate D3 + 3. Cool. And the relics, we've got Silver Strike. It replaces a Wit Stealer Sword. It becomes Strength +2, -3, 3 damage, and you can make 2 additional attacks with this weapon, and subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by a Warlord that has lost any wounds from this weapon. 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by a model. Ah, right, okay, so it makes them -1 to hit. You then got the Whip of Agony, model with a Living Whip only. This replaces the Living Whip. It becomes range 6, assault 6, strength 6. -3, 2 damage. The bearer can make attacks with this if he's within an inch of enemy models, and can target enemy units within an inch of friendly models. Attacks made with this weapon automatically wound unless the target is a vehicle. Wow! That's good. Jewel of Excess. When a model with this relic takes a psychic test while attempting to manifest psychic powers, add 1 to the result. In addition, when a Deny the Witch test is made, you can add 1 to the result. And there's a Chaos Demon name generator, but that, I don't think it bumps demons up as far as what they need. But it's very, very cool. Some of the relics are awesome. It's nice that they've given them more stratagems, because I always felt that the Demon Book felt too disjointed. There wasn't enough for each god in there. I think combined with this, I think you're going to get some scary greater demons. And hopefully monsters are going to be back with a vengeance in 9th edition. So let me know what you guys think of this, and we'll see you again very soon.